OnlyOffice is an all-in-one office suite designed for creating and editing text documents, spreadsheets, presentations, and PDFs in a single environment. It's built for both individual productivity and team collaboration, giving users the ability to work with familiar document formats while keeping their workflow streamlined across multiple file types. Whether you're drafting written context or analyzing data in spreadsheets, building slideshows, or reviewing PDFs, the suite brings those tools together in one platform. And we're going to take a look at it next on Geekazine. What's up, my geeks? Jeffrey Powers from Geekazine, Think Magazine, Put in a Geek. Now, OnlyOffice is sponsoring this video, but of course, all opinions are that of Geekazine. I got a full review section over at geekazine.com/review if you got any questions on that. If you've got a product that you want me to take a look at, all you have to do is fill out the contact form. I'd like to thank all of my Patreons for helping me put these shows together. You can go over to patreon.com/Geekazine, or you can send a one-time tip over at venmo.com/Geekazine. OnlyOffice Docs 9.3 actually introduces several improvements focused on usability and productivity. One of the most anticipated additions is multi-page view, a feature that many users have been waiting for, and we'll show you that as we go. This allows you to view and navigate multiple pages of a document simultaneously, making it much easier to review long documents, adjust layouts, and manage formatting. Version 9.3 also includes improvements across the editing environment and collaboration tools, continuing on the platform's focus on making document creation smoother and more efficient for teams and individual creators alike. And of course, if you prefer working on your desktop rather than through a web page, the OnlyOffice Desktop editions also received updates in the release, so you can download it and install it. The desktop app now includes expanded cloud storage integrations, including direct connections with services like Box and Dropbox, so you can access and manage your documents stored in an external platform. So with that, what we're going to do is we're going to take a look at OnlyOffice. Of course, we'll look at the web page, and then of course the documents, which really is not much of a difference there. And we'll show you some of the new features, and then I'll give you some of my final thoughts. This is the online version of OnlyOffice. As you can see, we've got a simple Word document up. In fact, if you go to the page will give you some default documents that you can take a look at from there. But we just got the Word page up there. As you can see, just like with an Office 365, you're seeing a lot of this, what they call the ribbon. So you can go back and forth from here and do the online editing. So that means if you have a tablet, if you have a laptop or Chromebook or anything like that, then you'll be able to use the Office documents and then save them into your cloud, however you save them into your cloud, so you can pull them up and use them from there. So that's the website. I wanted to show you that first of all. But of course, they do have a document side, an actual app that you can put onto your computers. So that way, if you're not connected up to the internet, you can still continue to work on stuff. Of course, you'll need to copy them down first, but once you do that, then you can finish it up and then have it re-upload from there. You get basically 4 different documents. We've got the Word document, we've got a spreadsheet, we've got a presentation, and of course a PDF editor and whatever. So we got the simple document right here. Let's close that out. So I just had ChatGPT run me up a 1-page document about something. I'm not sure. It says the quiet value of small experiments. Interesting. So I got this up here, right here. I can do a lot of different things, just like with any type of Word document right here. We've got, once again, the ribbon, and within the ribbon, we have different types of plugins. We can actually go to the plugin manager. They'll start there. So we've got different types of plugins. I actually put in the WordPress plugin. Right now we have a thesaurus, we have Zoltero, and then of course, like I said, the WordPress here. We've got a photo editor, which we can start up. There we go. So I can actually put in, I don't know if I don't have a photo right now, but I could actually go in and do some editing, like for instance, cropping or just circling around certain things to watch for, things like that. We've got the OCR option, which will let you scan in a file. We've got the typograph that can go through and correct text right here. We got the language tool right here. Of course, if you've got documents that need to be translated, there it is right there. And then a lot more. We can also send it out via email, but we don't have an email client set up on here yet. That's the main ribbon on here. From the home, this is where we do all the editing. Like, for instance, we've got right here, we've got the bullet lists. I just changed something to a bullet list there. We can change the font size. We can change, you get the idea. Then we have the insert ribbon where we can bring in page breaks. We can bring in text boxes, pictures, everything like that. There's our drawing area. We've got our layout area where we can add columns and breaks and all that other good stuff. Reference area for all this stuff. Collaboration. Yes, we can collaborate with other people, and that's a pretty cool little feature right there as well. So you can set this up for collaboration. We've got protection. So especially if you've got a signature in there, because they do have right here, they do have the signature area where you can add a digital signature. So, and that's especially for PDFs. You can bring in a PDF, sign it, and then send it off for, if you've got a contract or anything that you need to sign, basically. So we've got the view option where we can kind of make it so we can see it or not see it or whatnot, or zoom up to 100% like it is. And then the plugins area where I showed you there before. And then, of course, there's the AI area. Everybody's got to have an AI area, right? So what this is in the OnlyOffice gives you the chatbot, where you can do some AI configuration. You've got the summarization, we've got the translation, and the grammar and spelling. And then we can create an AI assistant. We can give it its own name, and we can give it a prompt and different types of actions. That's the Word document. As you can see, very straightforward, just like any other document system. Then we have the spreadsheet area. Like we got a new button there. So there's all the spreadsheet. Once again, we've got the same ribbon up here. We got the AI options. We've got the plugin options. So you can really build out your spreadsheets from here. We got the presentation area where we can create our slideshows, bring in slideshows. And then, of course, the new PDF. And of course, the PDF area where we can bring in those documents. And so, like, for instance, that's what I was going to do with this. I was going to just basically come in and I'm going to save it as the PDF. And we're going to call this test. So now we have that saved as a PDF. So now we can come over to the PDF area and we can open test.oo. There we go. And it's loaded in as a PDF. This is an editable PDF, so you might have some that have protection on it. You might have some that are basically scanned in. We can definitely choose to edit this PDF, and as you can see, we have this new option to redact, which is cool. So we have the insert options, which is basically up here where we can edit our PDF. We've got the hand, so we can move things around. We got the select option. We can create a blank page table, just standard PDF style stuff. And then, things like arrows. So we can put an arrow down in there if we wanted to, or anything like that, a speech balloon or whatnot. We can add a link. So if we wanted to link something up, we could do that. And then, of course, create different types of equations right there. And that's all in the insert. In the forms area, we can create text fields, as you can see right there. Combo boxes, if we need to, list boxes, if we need to, you get the idea. Check boxes or radio buttons, images, so you can really max out this PDF if you need to for more of a form than anything. We've got the redact. In this document, if you redact everything, if you redact a line, like we're going to redact a line in a second here, once you save that document, the redaction is permanent. You can't go back. The best thing to do is to have a raw copy and then save that, because once that saves, the redaction happens. That's what they're saying right here. So let's do this. Let's just highlight. Let's just do the first part here. So now we're going to do that. And we're going to hit redact text, and we've got a little red box over it. And of course, we highlight it. There's the redaction. Once we save that, it's going to look like that permanently. We can search through it. We've got the comment area where we can highlight. Let's do a yellow. highlight areas or whatnot. As you can see, we've got collaboration, so we can add comments, delete, and then of course collaborate with others so they know what we're seeing and everything like that. We've got the view option and of course all the plugins and AI just like before. Let's talk about the signing of the document, because that's one of the new features of OnlyOffice. So with enterprise users, you can now upload a signing certificate to the admin panel, and it enables trusted digital signatures on submitted PDF forms. So you can now put a whole bunch of stuff into the documents, and then when of course it's time, they can go ahead and sign it. Other things you could put into documents, let's say they need to put down a credit card for renting furniture or loans or anything like that, then you can put that in there, all that protected, and then of course when it's time, they can sign that, go to the protect document, and within that allows you to put in a password and say, hey, what do you want to protect? If this is a form that they need to fill out, then you can kind of exclude the form information and the signature and all that, and create the document so they can't change the text. Like, let's say there's a warranty involved and this is 1 year, 12,000 miles. Let's say this is a car rental agreement or something like that. They can't change it to 20,000 miles, 2 years. But you can have a series of radio buttons or check boxes saying, I understand what was just said, and then of course the signature or initial area. I showed you the links, but let's go over that once again. That's over in the insert area, and then we can choose a link. Like, we can go ahead, let's highlight this area. And let's say I want to link it to Geekazine. As you can see, it's displaying the text that I highlighted. So I put in geekazine.com and go, okay, and now this is a link. So that's new for 9.3. So when you create the document overall, the PDF or whatever, then they'll have the link option to go for more information. And of course, they have added some features that people have been really asking for. For instance, the multi-page option here. We just basically go to view, and inside of view, we have multiple pages. So we saw before, where you can change the width and the height so you can actually see the document, zoom it in, zoom it out. You can now do multiple pages, so you can have both of those pages right there. So you can see what you're reading, not have to scroll too much. That's the one thing I don't like. If you got like a 10-page document, I'd like to have it set up so I don't have to touch the computer at all. And then there's, of course, the collaboration area. We have this set up. I don't have anybody to collaborate with on these documents, but if you've got an office with 4 or 5 people, then you can collaborate with them. You can go through the different settings. We showed you some of the adding the comments, the deleting. We'll just add another comment here. That brings it down on the page, just like you would see on most Word documents, and say, like anything, I'm just going to say hello right there, and I'll add it. And of course, as you can see where that link was, we now have a comment. Another new feature is the header and the footer tab. So as you can see, I don't have a header or footer right here, but this is how you get it. Simply, all you have to do is bring your cursor up to the top and double click. Then all of a sudden it'll say, hey, there's a new header and footer, and then it'll show up right there. If you double click off of there, as you can see, the header and footer disappears. But we go back up here. Now we can type in our header and our footer if we want to. As you can see, it shows up on all pages. And then when we do this off of the header and footer, now we can edit our page here. And then of course, if we want to get back here, like for instance, if let's say we want our footer, we want to do a page numbering system, we can do that. We'll put that in the bottom corner like that. And then of course, we'll put a date and a time, and we'll put a couple spacers in there. So now our documents have pagination and a date. Another cool new feature is the triple click. So basically I want to highlight this whole paragraph. I triple click that, and then I can do whatever I need to. I can copy, paste, whatever. The double click option to highlight a word, and a triple click option to highlight a whole paragraph. That way, if you need to cut it out, copy it, move it, whatever, you can do so fairly easy. One of the things that everybody's been talking about was the fact that it was a slow load for OnlyOffice. They improved that, basically handling bigger data spreadsheets. So they've optimized this whole thing. Plus, they've added some new features here. One of the features is over in data. It's called the solver tool. And of course, this goes a little bit past what my knowledge on this whole thing. But the whole idea is you can put cells in here, and then of course, it'll take information from one set of cells and it'll move it over and calculate for another set of cells. Another one is they've added to their expression library in the formula. So we go over to the functions. Now you have the regex text, the regex replace, and regex extract options that inside of here. So if you use them, if you need them, then you can add them to your spreadsheet. Finally, the dynamic array support function, which allows formulas to return multiple results that automatically spill into neighboring cells. So you can make great spreadsheets like this one. There's a lot of new features and everything like that for OnlyOffice. And of course, you can download, like I said, you can download the apps or just use the web editor. So the desktop apps are free and mobile apps are also free. So if you got a tablet, if you got a phone, if you've got a computer, you can run that. And of course, there are pricing models here, but all you have to do is go to this page, choose your operating system, and start going from there. We've got Windows, there's Mac, there's Debian, there's other types of Linux flavors, and as you can see, it's just a big list right here of whatever operating system you use. Talking about the dock space, here's the pricing options. There is a free tier level, of course. Businesses would start at about $20 a month if you do the yearly plan. Otherwise, it's $30 per month, and of course, you get for the free level, you get up to 3 admins for collaborating if you need to, unlimited users, unlimited guests, and up to 12 rooms. We didn't talk about the room part, but you also get 2 gigabytes worth of storage, so you can copy over documents, so you can have them on your desktop and then move them to your tablet and back. And of course, support the OnlyOffice community. But of course, at the pay levels, you get a whole bunch more. You can see all of that there. Let's talk about the product here. I love the idea that you got a free version, so you don't have to pay for it. I love the fact that you get a little bit of cloud storage even in that free version, that you can collaborate with people in that free version. I just love that idea that there is an area where you don't have to pay for something to get these documents done. I love the fact that I can bring in documents to sign and fill out. I love the idea that I can create documents as well and send them out from there. And of course, as you get into the paid plans, you'll get more support off of that, so you can really make some documents. As for the spreadsheets, most of the spreadsheets that I use, I've built, and I really don't want to show them to you guys. No offense, but this is all internal stuff. And of course, I struggle a little bit when it comes to putting formulas together. So the idea of having some of these features inside the spreadsheets is great. So if you're looking for something to really expand your spreadsheets into something more useful and more automatic, that's great. Of course, they do have the AI feature in there. They have the ability to put in plugins. And that one big thing that even some of these web editors don't have is the ability to download an app onto your Windows machine, onto your Mac machine, because there's many times that I am working on a document, I'm working on a spreadsheet, but I'm not in a place where there's internet. Even just finding a dark spot in a corner that I can just work on something without having the distractions of the internet come in, like emails and text messages and everything like that. I love that idea, because then I can really focus on the app. And then when I'm done, I can turn back on the internet and I can send that off into my cloud storage. I can send that off into my Dropbox. I can send that off into my box without a problem and continue working from there. If you've got large spreadsheets, and that's usually what happens with spreadsheets, then the improved spreadsheet area is really going to help you out, because it won't bog down as much. But of course, keep in mind when you're installing it onto a computer, make sure your computer has enough resource to handle those larger spreadsheets. And that's of course with Windows machines or Mac machines or Linux or whatever flavor of operating system you use. Ultimately, the ease of use is great, but what do you think? Do you use OnlyOffice? Let me know in the comments below over at Geekazine.com, youtube.com/Geekazine, where you can like, subscribe, and of course, hit that bell notification so you know when the next video comes out. Until next time, my name is Jeffrey Powers. Thanks a lot for watching. You guys geek out and organize your documents well. with OnlyOffice.